There you are. It's rather rude of you to keep a lady waiting. I'll forgive you, though. It gave me a chance to dip into my notes about the Circle of Archmagi. One does not simply waltz into an Archmage's domain unprepared. Tell me, dearie, how much do you know about Reengrim? Well, with her skill in spellcraft, she certainly could do so if she wanted to. The Circle of Archmagi are the most powerful magical beings in Aora. Whatever the reason, the fact that she's here at all is significant. Oh, Aldra's titties, the Circle sent the Archmage of Terror. Oh, she's just brilliant. Maybe, maybe not. But Nakukubel is very old and very large. But I've no idea why an illusionist would care for godless artifacts. Yours truly excluded, of course. There must be something in there of interest to Reengrim. Probably something powerful. I knew I liked you, darling. I'll be with you every step of the way. Those Steel Garrote bastards stole all my research about the Godless. They'll get to the garden first over their dead bodies. I can show you the way to Reengrim's domain, but we should travel lean. The less of us there are, the less likely she'll take notice. You'll need me to get you in the door, so who's staying behind?
You got it. I'll make sure to roll around in the warm sun for a bit while I'm at it.
Perfect. Oh, this is going to be fun.
I must have done 100 shifts on those watchtowers. Never saw so much third-born blood under them.
Going diving into ancient ruins doesn't make much sense to me. You're going into some of the most deadly places in the lands. On purpose.
They're not any more dangerous than the rest of the living lands.
Right. But I'm there to keep people from making stupid mistakes. Like diving into ancient ruins on purpose.
Well, if you keep others out of the ruins, I have to go in. Who else will if I don't?
No one has to. If people were meant to go there, there'd still be people there.
Oh, you're so sweet for worrying, dear.
I mean, I swear to the Ascendant Gods, you're about as hard to read as a Valian romance novel.
So you've read those romance novels, then? Should we start a book club?
Right, we're done here. I'll be over there doing something else.
For the camp of an official Adiran envoy, I was expecting a little more. A proper bed, at least. But I suppose this will do for now. As long as you have a bath, of course. When the mood is right, I find I like everything. I'm going to write Quilichi tonight. Make sure he misses me. But, as riveting as it is to complain about our accommodations, I imagine you have another topic in mind? Well, because I'm the foremost expert on the Godless, of course. So I must study their artifacts when I can. Unfortunately, it's been quite some time since I've met another who focused on the godless as I do. And I imagine I'd be more knowledgeable on the subject than anyone else you could find. Technically, yes. Well, it set me on the path, at least. When I got my first grimoire as a child, I was trying out some of the fancy new spells I'd been given. I was attempting a simple illusion spell, but I must have slurred my words. The next thing I know, everything was on fire. I mean, my arm wasn't the only casualty. What is childhood but for silly things? When else can you get away with arson? My father was able to pull me from the flames as my mother doused them. I burned myself badly enough to give myself some vivid dreams, but the house still stood at the end. Of course. Now I only burn those that deserve it, like mosquitoes and university administrators. The only lasting damage was my burn mark and the dreams. Do you do that often?
More often than you think. Because you'd think it should never happen, but it does.
Well, next time give the girl some warning, will you? I like it, but not everyone is as open-minded as I am. Thankfully, the dreams are nothing too terrible. Just the usual things. Not studying for an exam, having all your teeth fall out. They're not nearly as enjoyable as my more provocative dreams. Oh, you're no fun. As delightful as you are, we've much to do and less time to do it in. Shall we go? Do you think you could teach me to shoot?
Sure, but why? You know spells that'll knock an ogre on their back.
I've seen some very pretty guns. I think the right one would fit with my outfit, and I'd hate to miss out.
Fair enough. I'll teach you to shoot if you teach me some spells.
Sure. As long as you don't make me start with Tane's chaotic orb.
What does that one do? Now that you mentioned it, that's the only one I want to learn.
Let's see how good you are at teaching. Then we can talk about the fun spells. Oh, Envoy, might I steal a moment of your time? Well, it's the waiting that makes the payoff so delicious, don't you agree? I can't believe Fjord's gone. A city of scientists, attacked for no reason. I'm going to personally find every Steel Garrote asshole and turn them to ash. I can't believe we were able to get as many out of town as we were. I suppose I'll have to give him that. But if you tell him I said that, I'll deny it to my dying day. Besides, Quilici and I did just as much to help people out. At least we were able to get everyone to safety. I don't know how things are in Paradise, but at least it's not on fire. I mean, I assume. Oh, I didn't move to Fjord until I was 20. Or somewhere around there, give or take a few years. You see, Emerald Stair has Naku Tadek. For a young and aspiring godless scholar, it was a godsend, if you forgive the pun. And, as a young at heart godless scholar, I've traveled outside the stair to other ruins. That's how I met Temerti. Thirdborn's close to Naku Kubel. A girl's gotta eat sometime. Yes, why did I choose to settle down with a gorgeous scientist who loves me? What a mystery. I still go out often. I've catalogued many ruins, but there are always more. And coming home to a warm welcome is lovely. You should try it sometime, darling. Brilliant, Envoy.
You don't have to be an animancer to enjoy the pleasure of their company.
Exactly. Thank you, darling. Even with the stunning lack of animancy in my life, I marched into town and everyone fell in love with me. Oh, part of it is my sparkling personality, of course, but a larger part of it is time. It's hard to hate someone when they drop by your lab with lunch after you've forgotten to eat again. As much as I'd love to, you don't travel with the kitchen. I can't promise anything. My mother always said that the way to a man's heart was through his stomach. Quilici and I got together the old-fashioned way, though. I saw a beautiful man across a smoky tavern. Then I dazzled him with my delightful personality. Then he showed me an abandoned ruin outside of town, and I was hooked.
Are you joking? He's my mentor. Not to mention 1,000 years old.
Oh, no. They're both handsome humans, of course. But Giada is like family to both Quilici and me. He taught her a lot of what he knows. She spent days in our home. Literal 26-hour days. I still can't quite believe that everything we've built is gone. A generation of work scattered to the wind. It makes you wonder how everything will turn out. When we left, Vidaro seemed to have gotten the idea. Finally. Still, you're right. Vidaro was far too slow to act. At least Quilici is with them. So I know someone competent is there. Thank you, Envoy. I feel a little less frazzled. I've got a lot to think on. Talk to you soon? Try not to have too much fun without me. How can I help, darling? Don't mind if I do.
Thirdborn. If it weren't for the Leviathan skeleton in the middle of town, I'd hardly recognize the place. "6 years ago. Feels longer now. You ever come back to a place and feel like the buildings are smaller and the colors are duller? Thirdborn was always this rugged oasis. Dangerous and out of the way, but bursting with vitality. It was a harbor for larger-than-life types. People like Capo, the Leviathan Slayer, and Tama. Glory seekers, trophy hunters, warriors trying to leave their battles behind. People who built around their stories and their scars. I guess it felt like one, too. Hardtack and Merc brew after a long day's patrol tasted better than any feast. Being back, it felt like we were watching Thirdborn die a slow death. True. But I can't help but feel that the Thirdborn I knew 6 years ago would have faced it better. I think what's eating at me is that Thirdborn seems rudderless. The Dream Scourge is one threat. Conflict with Adir is another. The Living Lands is changing, and Thirdborn feels like a barnacle on a moving ship. Temeriti's leading them as best she can, but towards what? What are we doing out here besides surviving? And right now, they're drifting. Yeah. What about you? You were sent by your Emperor to investigate the Dream Scourge. Since then, you've died, met a secret god, and gotten swept up in tensions between your empire and our scattered settlements. You've been consistent. You brought Egwolf to Adir's justice, and the Steel Garrote's attack on Fjord went forward. Do you know what you're sailing towards, or are you drifting with the tides? It's good to know what you stand for. I envy that clarity sometimes. Thanks for talking. I hope Thirdborn is able to find its way somehow. The story goes that a lot of the first arrivals were Rawatayans without other prospects, too low on the ladder to take over the family trade, too poor to learn another. Exactly. Rawatai's an inhospitable environment, to say the least, so my people have a proud tradition of seeking our fortunes elsewhere. The Rawatai's got a big navy that always needs fresh blood, and there are plenty of opportunities for large, colorful mercenaries and bodyguards all over Aora. You got it. It's hard to say when Thirdborn was properly founded. It started as a convenient harbor for pirates and mercs to lie low. Bold, or desperate, fishing crews from Rawatai would follow seasonal catches out here. That tells you something about the people willing to attempt it. Over time, those early arrivals built huts, a proper harbor, and walls to protect them from all the hungry things in the desert. Well, that brought in a steady trickle of veterans, ruffians, trophy hunters, and rugged eccentrics. People looking for fresh adventure, or running from the consequences of their old ones. Your words, not mine. I've got a lot of memories here, and the longer I stayed away, the harder it felt to come back. Harder than I thought. Thirdborn's missing a lot of familiar faces. And the youngsters who've grown up and the new arrivals, they seem green. Like they're cut from a different cloth, a more delicate one.
This plague is tearing everything apart at the seams. Healing may take years, if not generations.
Maybe you're both right. Thirdborns only survived because the people were tougher than the wilds. I just hope the people living behind those walls know how to keep them standing. I'd never met Naoki. Asui arrived a few months before I left Thirdborn. I knew their squad mates better. Uriki was a ship's carpenter with the Rawatai Navy years ago. Came from a military family, but she never saw much combat herself. Manu was a deckhand on a pirate ship. Stopped in Thirdborn with his crew to resupply and never left. I don't think piracy suited him. Kiri, he was a sweet kid. Born shipboard to a mercenary captain who left him here and never came back. For the longest, I thought that was for the best. Me too. Most of all, I'm sorry I wasn't here to better prepare them.
This wasn't your fault. They just weren't ready.
Because there weren't enough seasoned soldiers to train them. The Thirdborn's in dire straits if they're sending people like this out to patrol. I'll be here if you need me.
Listening to Yatsley's thoughts about godless ruins is one thing. Bringing her along for the rest of the trip is something else. Well, don't you think it's a little convenient? You need to go somewhere no one ever goes, and here she is to show you the way? If she's read anything about the garden, it was written centuries ago. Obviously, things have changed since then. Bothered? Pedraku. It's my job to guide you as safely as possible. What you're doing isn't safe. I'll go along with whatever you decide. Just don't be disappointed when she doesn't show you what you wanted to see. Anyway. If I must.
The dream scourge is getting worse. First our land, then our animals. Now our people. If we don't put a stop to it, we're looking at the end of the living lands. I keep trying. And the world keeps punishing me for it. As if the Dream Scourge wasn't enough of a problem, the Adherents are profiting off our misfortune. They haven't come to help us. They're here to exploit our weakness. The Steel Garrote are a weapon. Who do you think wields them? It's too bad. We're fighting for our lives, our souls, and our freedom. I don't know if we can win all three. You really think so? My apologies for acting cynical, but it feels as if nature, politics, and even the very gods are working against us. I don't appreciate being backed into a corner, but here I am. Despite everything that's happened, I'm so grateful to be working with Yatsli. In many ways, Quilichi has been like a second father to me. But Yatsli, she's like my dirty aunt who's up to no good. As long as you don't feed her after midnight. She gets gassy, temperamental, and somehow it's your fault. While I have your attention, I've been thinking. Why is Inquisitor Ludwig suddenly interested in godless ruins? She's a smart one. I'll give her that. We should be ready for anything. Something tells me Ludwig isn't finished with us yet. Not before I've done some reading.
Singing sand. We feel the essence seep from the ruins. Time tempers a rocky surface smoothed by a spring rain. A lion kneels, a blight before it, spells and suspicion at its back. What ruled the land alone now seeks the safety of the pride. They burned us. They trampled over us. This is their way. We feel the people of Thirdborn huddle together in the dark. We smell desperation, panic. Then, the seasons change. They turn to each other. The rose does not depend on the moss to survive. We look deeper. Our limbs sift through sand. What do you know of this? For years, we watched the Akita share their food and tie their hands. Gifts, promises. Why do they undertake these rituals? Still, the word eludes our grasp. Perceive the ocean in a drop. Do its waves sing to you? Spring turned to winter. A soul torn from its rightful home. This we understand. New leaves breach the impenetrable clay. A bush unfurls amid the suffering and strife and blooms. Nothing should live here. How can it sprout? From what well does it spring? 4 arms build together, a fence made stronger, peace restored. We have learned much. Dream of shimmering scales as you rest. We have been here before. Do you hear the dust whisper on the wind? A fear faced. The mysteries of life and death welcomed as friends. A mind unclouded. Now our memory is a wound reopened. You are Nimana, one of those who speak for us. Your gift shone a different shade from others of your kind. The souls of the departed danced before you like sea foam. Tell us, what did you make of the songs they sang to you? A mouth, a conduit, a welcome curiosity. One day a voice called you to the wilds outside your village. Find us in the highest heights, we said. Come, speak to us. You left your world behind, set off upon uncharted sea. Scorching days, freezing nights, a raft more precious than a jewel. One day, you came to the place where the stone challenged the clouds. Night fell. 100 blazing lights refracted in the sky. We appeared. Your essence joined with ours. We shared what we had seen. You perceived us in new colors. Tell us, Nimana, what did you learn? The bee pollinates the blossom. One hand serves the next. You sailed home to the village, eager to share what you had seen. We prickled. Something was wrong. Trouble like salt on the breeze. People had chased the water back. They raised the wood and stone. They built a tremendous temple. They offered us their stores of food. Trap the falcon, clip its wings. They feared you. They feared us. They tried to placate, to control. Your eyes turned up. You saw a statue, a prison. This was not our form. A wellspring boiled. Our cry rose in your throat. This could not stand. Stone smashed on tile. We shuddered. The people's hearts inflamed. They brought their fists upon you. How could you turn against your own? Duty? Obligation? Dread? The ground shakes. The thorns prick. A crack carves through the pillars. Why? We fall. We fall. We thought... No. We feel nothing. We swipe at echoes of the past. We remember now. A cut. A chasm as deep as the sea. A wound gouged into our skin in our thrashing. We did this. The seas fall. The mountains rise. We do not comprehend ourselves. The sun rose on the barren earth. The village had tumbled down the chasm. Only ruins remained. The few who survived faced the wilds, their new home. Hunger, blistered feet. Clouds parted. Hatred gave way to desperation. They looked to you. Wisdom, the purest offering. People again condemned to wander. A village, one day rebuilt. In time, all those who spoke for us came to Thirdborn to face their fate. Tradition without memory, a trial of unknown lineage. We saw the clay settle on the Ammonite, and we learned. We twine together. We reach for the sky. We grow. We grow. We grow.
This is it. Ringrim was definitely here.
So, why couldn't you just put that on a sign? These ice corpses are excessive.
Yes, but look at them. The artistry is sublime. Can you imagine having enough finesse to make all this?
I can't imagine wanting to. If you gotta deal with an archmage to stop the Dream Scourge, so be it. But be careful with this Ringrim character. This place has given me a bad feeling I can't shake.
A spell. And a very clever one. Ringrim's using her illusions to make people choose to stay away. Everyone except us. Yes, that's exactly why Ringrim has made a weapon of it.
Good thing we've got our own wizard. Can you get us in?
Of course I probably can. All spells have a counter. You just have to know what it is. But we can figure that out later. Right now, we have to focus on what's at the end of that passage. Precisely. Chances are we'll die. But if we don't, we stop Ludwig and get into the ruins. So, win-win.
Yatsley, you must have been a Rowatayan admiral in a past life.
Let's get going. Oh, and stay close. These are so lifelike. Poor bastards. That's done. Look, it's hard. I'm covered in fur and even I'm freezing. Are her illusions really so powerful? Stay close. Ringrim's trying to scare us off, but we won't let her, will we? Hey. Oh, what a frosty welcome.
I was prepared for heat, sandstorms, monsters. Not this.
It's just a trick, Envoy. A well-crafted cold trick. Keep moving.
Well now, that's one creative Zara. Look at its spear.
Visitors, do you know what this moment calls for? A beautiful, macabre story that lingers in the mind. You wish to find me in my tower? You'll have to wait until I tell this tale.
We gotta get into that tower? I hope Yatsley brought her ladder.
There's got to be a way. Let's snoop around.
Land shaped in the dreamer's image, not with stone or axe, but with essence. Songs of ancient magic. Could we sing to them?
visitors. Do you know what this moment calls for? A beautiful, macabre story that lingers in the mind. You wish to find me in my tower? You'll have to wait until I tell this tale.
We gotta...
Let's snoop around.
Land shaped in the dreamer's image, not with stone or axe, but with essence. Songs of ancient magic. Could we sing to them?
Once, a very important statue fell to pieces, and an entire village perished because it wouldn't put the statue back together again.
That's done. Well, it's hard.
Skeletons. Now this I can handle. Watch the left!
Go down here.
Worse than raw! Makes worse than raw! On my last leg! Nice! Back in the fight.
I Enjoy the pain, dears! On your right, dear. Oh, that's hot.
Thanks, soldier.
If you can make the decision the village could not and restore the statue, I will see inside my tower.
I'm guessing she hasn't had company in a while. Ringram seems fun.
Stand back. You're mine now. Hook up, envoy.
You said
Everyone okay? Next one's mine. And raw. And raw.
He's on Sabo.